Good evening and welcome to the February 17th, 2016 Town Board meeting. I'll officially call the meeting to order. I would ask everyone to rise. Tonight I would like to recognize, did he scoot out on me? We'll start, I was going to have Ed Lindskog lead us in the pledge, but if you would, please join us for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Mr. Lindskog has been involved with scouting for more than 50 years, and always like if he starts us off with the formal pledge to start our meeting. I'll ask our clerk to please call the roll for the record.
Cole is absent. LaFountain.
Here.
Metzler.
Here.
Moore.
Here.
Quinn.
Here.
Great. Thank you very much. Tonight we have two public hearings to start our meeting, and I would ask our clerk to please call the first public hearing.
To allow a catalog company at 1807 Penfield Road in the Four Corners zoning district. The legal notice was published in the Penfield Post on January 28, 2016, posted on the town's website and the town clerk bulletin board. 25 postcards were mailed.
Great. Thank you. And Mr. Horwitz, is this properly before the board?
Yes, it is.
All right. Thank you. We have the applicant here ready to go. If you'd please give us your name and address, and then the board has some materials that Mr. Costello has forwarded us about your project, but for the record, we'd like if you would give us an overview, hours of operations, type of activities, those types of things. So please, the floor is yours.
Okay. My name is Mike Heuser, or Michael Heuser. I'm at 46 Old Prestwick Way in Penfield, and I've been a Penfield guy for forever. Graduated Penfield High School, and it's nice to, I'm excited to have a business right here at the Four Corners. The name of the company is called Purgle. I brought a couple of some of the catalogs here. I didn't know if I wanted to pass it around.
Okay, please, if you would. That would be great.
I got a few of them you can kind of pass around. It gives you an idea of the type of products that we're going to be selling. The company is over 40 years old, and what we're selling is restoration products for old gas pumps. I don't know if you've seen the show American Pickers. You know, the guys that go around, they go to the old places, they find the old gas pumps. But lots of people, a lot of companies all over the world that you know, collect these pumps and restore them, and we sell the parts and pieces to restore them back to new. The company's really well known for the gas pump globe on the top. Okay. We have the exclusive manufacturing for the actual glass, and it's being actually made by the original company that made the glass for the gas and oil companies back in the 40s, 50s, 60s, and so on. So it gives it a really cool old feel, brings a little nostalgia back to the area. It's a catalog. It'll be based in the internet. Okay, so there won't be any too much retail. If somebody could probably walk up to it, it's okay, but most of the business will be all done online through shipping. As far as parking around the area or anything like that, you know, it'll be myself, maybe a part-timer from time to get going, but it'll be a small operations as far as people-wise, so it won't be taking up any space. I'll respect all the signage and everything that you know, is going to be happening. It'll be very low-key. And I think it'll be a great addition to the space area.
Great. Mike, what are your hours of operation typically?
It'll be 9 to 5, regular business hours, Monday through Friday. Okay. I may be there a little bit later myself because, you know, just getting going with the business, you know how it goes.
Sure, sure. And we have like a display or showroom, if you will, that folks could come in if they so chose.
Sure, you can come in. Generally, it's, you know, it's a catalog business, so there's lots of racks. You'll notice probably in the windows I may have a couple of globes displayed, but they'll be inside. They do light up. I may have a couple there in the window, so people, because I've already had people stop by, you know, what's going to be going on in here. And of course, but it won't be like a regular retail place where you come in and see a store where you would sit down and purchase.
Got it, got it. And signage, any signage planned for the building itself?
There is a couple places for signs, one in the front of the building that would face, but the the actual building sits back behind, it's not on the main road.
Right.
And you guys have seen it back there, it's more off Mott's, that back area.
Right. Mhm.
So there'll be probably one side on each side, one's gonna be relatively small, one will be a little bit larger on the building, but it will not light up. I understand that I can only put a light on the sign, but not have the sign light up. So I'll
Excellent.
probably have something there. And then there'll be one sign displayed that'll be right on 441 there, outside
Okay.
the front, right on the street.
Very good, very good.
Given your online nature of the business, you're not going to have a company van or anything parked there?
No.
When you talk about shipping, are you talking about post office, FedEx, UPS type shipping?
Yeah, it'll be 90% small package, which
Okay.
is UPS, Federal Express, UPS, or USPS type style fit, yeah.
And will you be
Every
shi-
now and then, we'll have one load that'll come in every so often, but it won't be very often.
Will you be shipping out from that location or taking things elsewhere to ship from?
No, it'll ship right from there. Yeah, UPS style.
Okay, excellent. Square footage of that building or the space that you have, Mike?
It's just under 1,000 square feet.
Got it.
It's 995.
Very good. Board, other questions or comments for the applicant?
I think the materials were very thorough that we got, so I don't have any more questions.
Okay, very good. Sit tight just for a minute. We'll open it up to the audience. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to address the board on this particular matter? It's the public hearing for the catalog store on Penfield Road. Okay, seeing nothing. Mike, I'd ask any additional input that you'd like to give the board regarding this particular application at this time?
Not at this time?
Okay, and I'd look out to staff. Staff, is there anything that you believe should be added to the record that hasn't been entered into the record thus far? All right, great. So next steps, the board will next take this matter up, or the next earliest time the board will take this matter up will be next Wednesday, 7 p.m. We have our work sessions here at the back table. You're welcome to come and listen into that discussion. I would encourage just to take a look at the agenda. The agenda will be published by noon or shortly after on Friday. And then the board would discuss it. That typically is between the board and staff. Certainly, if you're in the audience and the board has any questions, they can reach out to you.
Okay.
All right? Great.
Great.
Thank you for your time.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Would you like any of these back? I know they're pretty expensive. We can keep a couple, so we've got them part of the file.
You can keep them if it's helpful.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, I'll recognize our clerk for the second public hearing, please.
To allow an art store and art lessons at 1822 through 1826 Penfield Road, located at the Four Corners zoning district. The legal notice was published in the Penfield Post on January 28th, 2016, posted on the town's website and the town clerk's bulletin board. 28 postcards were mailed.
Great, thank you very much. And Mr. Horowitz, this is properly before the board?
Yes, it is.
All right, thank you. Welcome.
Thank you.
So similar to the last application, if you would just give us an overview. We do have some materials that Mr. Costello provided us, but if you would please give us just an overview
And
of the
actually, I have
business. Some additional materials? Great.
I have been a Penfield resident for about 18 years, but my business has been in Webster for almost 13 years now.
And for the record, could you give your name?
Cindy Corrigan, or officially Cynthia. We started out in Webster on the second floor where we have our birthday parties and lessons now. And then about a year and a half later, we expanded our space downstairs and added a gallery of local artists and a frame shop, as well as our art supplies. We have a website, and we have hours of operation are Monday through Thursday, 10 to 7, Fridays 11 to 5, and Saturdays 10 to 4, which we may look into expanding a little bit once we're at the new location. Let's see, we really provide an outlet for local artists, because a lot of local artists don't have an outlet in their own hometown, believe it or not, to exhibit their artwork. A lot of times they have to go out of state, because even some of the bigger galleries in Rochester do not accept local artists. It's which is hard to believe, but that's the way it is. We have been selling art supplies, and we have two people part-time. We may end up adding more people, and we also have contract instructors. We teach a lot of different things, everything from oil painting to watercolors, acrylics, multimedia classes. We have kids' lessons as well as for adults, and we do birthday parties. And we're looking to use the second floor and expand and bring in like art groups to hold some meetings there, and maybe bring in some nationally known artists. But in general, our store, as far as parking is concerned, we are a destination spot, and we're on a very busy corner in Webster, not, dissimilar to the situation here. And a lot of times, our parking lot is jam-packed, and people have to park way down, and they still find us. So parking is usually not an issue, because we mainly have 2 or 3 people in and out of the store at a time. So it's not like we have huge groups in all at once.
Okay.
You have any
And
questions?
I believe your intent is to purchase the property?
Yes.
And you have, if I recall, you have an accepted purchase offer in on the property at the present time?
Yes, we do.
And for those watching, this is currently the Masonic Lodge building
Yes.
in the Four Corners of Penfield.
And we would plan on putting our logo up on the same, corner of the building as the Masonic Temple logo is there now. And we do have a neon open sign. But as far as the windows go, a lot of it would be, the way we have it currently is we have artwork in one window and we have merchandise in one of the other windows, and it would be similar.
Do you have any internal or external changes to the building to be made?
Yes, we are going to be actually renting out the one unit on the east end. We're going to close up that wall, and we're trying to bring the middle unit, the one end unit on the west side is close to what it used to be as far as the high ceilings and things like that. And we want to bring the other unit back to that. We want to take out the drop ceilings, put in new flooring, and open up between the middle unit and the west end unit.
Okay.
Are you looking to add any windows? I know on the top floor of the Masonic Lodge, the Historic Preservation Board, we recently did a tour through there, and we noted that the windows were all closed up.
Yes, and it's funny because all of them are boarded up except for the moon-shaped window, but some of them are even sided over. So yes, that we do plan on eventually opening those up. Everything's going to happen in phases because we can't afford to do everything at once. Which I think will make that building look nicer, having those windows.
Well, and
open up.
inside too, it'll.
Oh, yeah,
certainly
we'll get lots
brighten up.
of beautiful sun in there.
Board, questions for the applicant?
No.
I don't have any.
Okay. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to address this particular matter? Okay. Is there any additional information that you would like to provide to the board that you haven't already entered into the record?
No, I just think that it would be a nice addition to the corner there. The artwork will generally add a lot of interest there, and it would create a lot of nice cross-traffic between, the other businesses across the street, Dunkin' Donuts and Starbucks and Mark's. I mean, I think that'll be really good for all of us.
Do you anticipate some sort of partnership or synergy with the Penfield Arts Center that's currently by Rosie's?
I don't know, because I know they have very limited hours and things like that. I certainly could talk to her, but, yeah, I know what they do is a lot different from what our store is.
And certainly, I would encourage you also to reach out to the Penfield Recreation Department in terms of a partnership with them for classes and see what you could offer them, what they might be able to offer you as well.
Right, right. Because I know that, St. Joseph's is right across the street there, and Albert Finney, and a lot of times the private schools don't have the resources for some of the extracurricular, or some of the arts and and things like that, that the public schools have,
Yeah,
so.
homeschoolers too.
And the other thing we do is we do art camps in the summer and usually over winter and spring break. So it's called the Big Fat Messy Art
I
Camp.
saw that. I've got a 7-year-old daughter who come in and make a big mess for me, so
The nice thing is, it's left with us.
it's true.
But we have kids that come year after year, they love it, so it's nice feeling to know that they enjoy it that much, that they come back every year.
Cindy, what is the square footage of your current facility in Webster? To give us an idea of what that is as compared to where you're going.
I have about 3,000 square feet there, and so we'd be occupying about 2,000 downstairs, and the one unit would be rented out, and then we'd be using the upstairs for our art classes.
All right. Great. Thank you. All right, Mr. Costello, is there anything that you believe should be added to the record that hasn't been from a staff standpoint? Jim Costello, our Business Development Director.
Thank you, Tony. No, the only comment I want to make is Cindy has referenced the fact since day one that she would like to rent out the space where the photography studio was. And I've indicated to her, and obviously you're aware of the fact that whoever comes in would need a permit from this board.
Right.
Whether it's through this process or a streamlined process, you would have to make the decision to let them go in there.
Thank you.
Other
I
than
think
that,
it's
everything else is
I
all
think
set.
that's an important piece of information. Thank you. All right, Board, one last opportunity for the applicant. Any additional questions or comments?
No.
All right, seeing none, then I'll declare this public hearing closed. And again, for this applicant as well as the previous, the next opportunity that we'll take this matter up will be next Wednesday in work session at 7 p.m. So thank you very much. All right, continuing on with our agenda, we'll move to communications and announcements. And I'll first recognize Councilman Quinn, please.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Good evening, everyone. Mark your calendars for Monday, February 22nd to attend For Our Valentines, Bonbons and a Movie presented by the Penfield Symphony Orchestra. All concerts are held at the Penfield High School Auditorium at 7:30 p.m. Free rides to the concerts are available from Lifespan by calling 872-0774. This concert is being sponsored by Harris Beach and St. Anne's Community at Cherry Ridge. For more than 60 years, the Penfield Symphony Orchestra has been bringing great music to our community. For more information about the Penfield Symphony Orchestra, please visit penfieldsymphony.org. And also, just a safety reminder, now that there is an accumulation of snow on the ground, we are asking residents of all neighborhoods to help clean and clear off fire hydrants. Once you have cleared your driveway and walkways, please consider clearing snow from the hydrant nearest to your property. This will help with assisting our emergency services providers. Thank you.
Mrs. Metzler.
I just have one announcement tonight, very timely. Our Department of Public Works employees would like to reinforce some winter weather tips to help you be safe and prepared. Please allow plenty of time to get to your destination safely and drive slowly. It's harder to control or stop your vehicle on an icy or snow-covered road. We've recently experienced that. Increase your following distance enough so that you have plenty of time to stop for vehicles ahead of you, especially when following one of our plow trucks. Also, they would like to remind everyone that parking on any roadway in the town of Penfield from 2 a.m. to 7 a.m. is not permitted through April 1st. So please follow that rule to allow our crews to effectively salt and clear the roadways for your safe travel. Our DPW is a dedicated group of professionals with many years of experience plowing and salting Penfield's roads, and they're proud to ensure your safe travels.
Thank you. I have two items. One is an announcement of an event that's coming up the end of the month. I think if you drive around town, or most towns these days, from time to time, you will see an old television set or computer monitor on the side of the road by the garbage can, and then you'll see it week after week. Those are no longer collected by law by the waste haulers, and they have to be disposed of properly. And if you go on Eco Park website, you'll find that depending upon the size of that particular unit, it could be $5, $10, or $15. Senator Joe Robach will be hosting a free electronics recycling event on Sunday, February 28th at Eco Park from 9 to 1 p.m. And if you have an interest to see all of those items that will be accepted, You can log on at www.roboc.newyorksenate.gov. And this is a free event, so if you bring 1 or 21, they'll accept all of those, and the intent is to keep it out of the landfill and to make it available for our residents, not only in Penfield but across Monroe County. The second item, I would just like to recognize the Penfield Community Victory Garden. And I just want to take a moment and just highlight a couple of things. This group, a very dedicated group of volunteers, and annually they have 89 beds that they rent out. This past year, they rented out 80. For the remaining beds, they had a discount a rental after June 30th. And then the remaining beds from there were actually used by the gardeners to grow food for the Penfield Ecumenical Food Shelf, which is great for the community overall. They were very active this year working with the YMCA, involved with our 4th of July parade. Brocola Garden Center on Penfield Road was an active sponsor of them, helping and assisting, coaching, and guiding. They had a new program called Tot Tour, and it was introduced to the younger children to get them more involved with gardening, which was a very nice success. A group of freshmen from Nazareth College participated in a service project, spreading mulch and helping clean up the garden itself. They also had some students and scouts that also joined in on that program. They've been active with a couple of the local farm markets, Bauman's, for the Great Pumpkin Raffle, and to guess what the size of that 93-pound pumpkin that someone had the opportunity to win. I think it was probably a great idea when you bought the raffle ticket, and then the next question was, how do I get this home after you won it? They received a number of nice donations from Bauman and from Brocola, and both of those local businesses very supportive of the Penfield community. They've hosted a few meets and greets. They've used their funds that they've received through donations to improve the garden. Garden security, hard to believe, but they had a lot of problems with individuals coming in and stealing garden products. So I would like to think that didn't happen in Penfield, but hopefully those that did steal it, they truly needed it, and we'll give them the benefit of the doubt. And some of the operations that they've had several work days, and they had a couple of large purchases this year for some compost and straw bales. And they're ready to go for 2016. If you're interested, please log on at penfieldrec.org, and you can reserve your own bed. So again, this is the Penfield Victory Gardeners, a volunteer group within the town that do such a wonderful job. Special recognition to Sabrina Renner from the Penfield Recreation Department that helps support, coach, and guide this group. Mr. Moore.
Thank you. The Penfield Players announces its winter reading of Red Herring to be performed on Saturday, February 20th at 2 p.m. at the Penfield Community Center at 1985 Baird Road. Directed by Donald Bartolo, Red Herring is a noir comedy about marriage and other explosive devices. It's set in 1952 when America's on the verge of the H-bomb, Dwight Eisenhower's on the campaign trail, and I Love Lucy on Monday nights. Admission is free, but donations are accepted at the door. For more information, please visit penfieldplayers.org. Also, the Penfield Players announces its auditions in February for its spring melodrama production of Billy St. John's Sneaky Pete Underhand's Devious Dealings, or The Doctor's Insane. Director Virginia Monty will hold auditions on Monday, February 22nd and Tuesday, February 23rd at 7 p.m. at the Penfield Community Center, 1985 Baird Road. Roles are available for 7 men and 4 women of various ages between the ages of 20 through 70. Backed by popular demand, this melodrama is set in the 1920s Hollywood. Sneaky Pete Underhand is a villainous doctor, and his henchwoman nurse Heidi Bedpan are hired to work at a silent movie studio where Sneaky Pete quickly hatches a plot to kidnap a top star. When script girl Paige Turner stumbles into Sneaky Pete's plot, the dirty doctor ties her to the studio buzzsaw only to have her rescued by cameraman operator Cameron Mann. No monologues are necessary. Readings from the script and provided by the director. For more information, please visit penfieldplayers.org or contact the director at hello@wallbyrd.com. That was a mouthful.
It was.
So, thank you.
Thank you. All right, we'll move on to our next item, and that's public participation. There are 3 opportunities that you can interface with the board. If you're here in the audience, you can address the board on any matter. You can call in at 340-8771, or you can log on at penfield.org. We'll take those folks that have signed up first, and then if you haven't signed up, that's okay. We'll still give you the opportunity to do that. There are 2 opportunities at this time, and then again at the end of our agenda. With that, I'll recognize our clerk to identify those that may have signed up.
Robert Peterson?
Hello, Bob.
Evening.
Good evening.
Robert Peterson at 1931 Clark. And I'm here about a drainage liability that my property resides on top of, and to find out how or to whom, which function in the town, which department of the town, I can make an appeal, a petition, to see that the town ensures that when the Dolomite property that's adjacent to my lot, just west of my lot, just east of my lot, and just south of the holding pond that's at the ninth tee of Shadow Pines. All of Shadow Pines North drains, most of it drains through that holding pond and then out through a 12-inch underdrain that's in my lot. It was there when we built the house. It extended onto the property roughly 70 feet. Ted Jablonski extended it another 70 feet, so now it extends about 140 feet into my property. And it takes the flow, all the drainage from the golf course through the pond out to the backside of my lot. My lot is filled, so there's a bunch of fill dirt on top of that pipe. I have a 30-year-old, roughly a 30-year-old copper beech sitting almost on top of it, and a dogwood of the same age, a berm, split rail fence that I put in 1990. All of those things would have to come out if that pipe had to be maintained, dug up, replaced, enlarged, or whatever. I've spoken to Mark Valentine and Jim Costello about it. They've just made it abundantly clear to me that the town has the easement that says they can do that, and I don't have a legal leg to stand on. Perhaps I don't, but I intend to find out about that, because I maintain that the natural course of drainage resides on the unbuilt lot that's part of the Dolomite property that's being sold. And so all I'm seeking is to get Dolomite to recover the drainage liability that they have for the golf course, especially now that it's likely to be developed with a bunch of homes. So that drainage is going to, the flow will increase dramatically, I'm sure. The town engineer indicates that the pipe would not have to be enlarged. They would address any increased drainage flow by increasing the number or size of the holding ponds, which means that'll restrict the flow, but the flow will be at maximum, in the spring, and when it's thawed or when there are heavy rains, that pipe is maxed out for a couple of days. So I would anticipate it might be a week or so before that drainage eases up. So I don't need to go, I've got charts, I've got maps. The environmental sensitivity map of the town shows the terrain where and it shows the stream buffer originating on the Dolomite lot, but the whole course of drainage now has been shifted a couple of 100 feet or so to the west out of that lot. So that lot could be built on, I think, because the stream is no longer there. It comes through my yard. I would like to see it returned at any such time that, that my pipe had to be repaired, dug up. I would like the town to reserve the ability to put a culvert under the road to restore that flow to where it originally was. And so I'm here tonight to ask you, how do I go about that? Do I go to the planning board, the town board, or?
So I think the first thing, Bob, that we'll need to do is certainly, take a look at the records that we have. Take a look at the easement. I think it'll be important for Mr. Horwitz, our town attorney, to take a look at that and to meet with Mr. Costello and Mr. Valentine to identify, where are we today? Do we have any history to show how we got there and what have you? So I would
That's
say
the part I don't know, is why it was moved.
Yeah.
The only thing I know, and it's hearsay, we asked, we inquired when Ted Jablonski, when we were contracting to build our house there, he said, what's going on with that wooded lot next to us? And Ted said he tried to buy that from John Odenbach, but he was saving that lot for his daughter, Lynn or Linda. So it looks to me like the drainage was moved such that he could build on that lot. And if that's the reason, I find that unacceptable to me. If they got to dig me up now to put I think the drainage belongs, the liability for the drainage anyway, I think belongs with Dolomite.
Okay.
And
So
I would like the town to take some action to ensure whoever buys that property keeps that open for restoring the drainage rather than digging up my property.
So we'll certainly have to do a little bit of research, so we
Okay.
won't have that answer tonight. Mr. Horwitz joins us typically most Friday mornings, gives an opportunity for myself and staff
Should I
sit
come to
with
a
him.
working session at the town board and
No,
show the details?
no, this is sufficient right here.
Okay.
You've given us the information, the heads up. We'll make a note of that, and Mr. Horwitz and I will at least start to have some conversation with staff to see what records that we have on file, take a look at the current easements in place.
I
and
am
what
interested
have you.
in buying, I've been interested since 1990 to trying to acquire that lot, to have it subdivided and appended into my lot such that I could prevent a house from going up next to me there.
Sure.
I wanted to keep it as is, and I'd be very happy to do that and restore the drainage to that natural point of flow over there. So I'm more than willing to do that, but I've tried on 4 occasions. I've spoken to John Odenbach, of Jack Odenbach, that was his grandfather, Jack's grandfather.
Right.
And more recently to Jack and to John Seil,
Mhm.
and even to Stephen Ekovich down in Tampa.
Who is currently
They all said,
brokering the
no
property.
dice, they didn't want to touch it because the property's up for sale.
Got it.
So what I'm seeking is the town to somehow put a deed restriction on whoever purchases that land so that the drainage could be restored, if need be, to its natural point of flow.
Okay. So certainly we'll do some research, and then what we'll do is, typically what we'll do is we'll follow up in writing back to you, whatever we find. If we have any additional questions, certainly we can
Do I
reach
need
out to you.
to apply to you in writing?
That certainly would be, just to formalize it, Bob, this is, obviously, these meetings are taped. We'll start to have some dialogue, but certainly putting that in a letter to myself that would at least document that.
I've got to thank Jim for waking me up to this fact. I didn't realize I was sitting on a potential bomb here. He brought a copy of the easement to my house when he came over to take a look at what I was talking about. And I didn't realize what I had signed up for.
Got it. Okay.
I mean, I didn't sign it, Ted Jablonski did, but I knew there was an easement.
But you got it by
But I got
default
it
when you
now.
when you bought the lot in the house.
It's
Got
not
it.
uncommon for people
whole
to
9
discover that.
All right. Thanks, Bob. Thank you. Our next speaker.
I don't have anyone else.
Okay. So is there anyone in the audience who would like to address the board on any matter, again, at this time, or you have another opportunity at the end of the meeting? I don't see anyone jumping out of their seat. Then we'll move on to the agenda, and again, there will be another opportunity to address the board at the end of the agenda. I'll ask the board next, is there any additions or deletions to tonight's agenda? No. Okay, seeing none, we have the January 6, 2016 minutes before us. would entertain a motion of approval for those minutes.
I'll move.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion on those minutes? Seeing no discussion, I'd ask for a roll call vote, please.
LaFountain,
Aye.
Metzler,
Aye.
Moore,
Aye.
Quinn.
Aye.
4 ayes.
Great, thank you. Has the town board, town attorney, or town clerk received any petitions since our last meeting? Okay, seeing none. Move on to resolutions by function. We'll start with law and finance, please.
Authorization for supervisor to execute small contracts.
Moved.
Second.
Whereas the town routinely enters into small contracts for programs, lectures, and presentations, whereas a significant number of these contracts are in small amounts less than $500. Whereas the town board endeavors to efficiently and timely processing of these transactions for day-to-day operations. Be it resolved that the town board hereby grants the town supervisor authorization to execute contracts up to $500. Thank you.
Thank you. Discussion by the board?
No.
Seeing no discussion, roll call vote, please.
LaFountain,
Aye.
Metzler.
Aye.
Moore,
Aye.
Quinn.
Aye.
4 ayes. Approval of an incentive zoning application and preliminary and final subdivision and site plan to permit the construction of 12 duplex units at 1213 Fairport 9 Mile Point Road.
Moved.
Second.
Whereas the town board received an application for incentive zoning on October 27, 2015, requesting preliminary and final subdivision site plan approval for the development of 12 duplex units at 1213 Fairport 9 Mile Point Road on lands totaling roughly 6.7 acres. Whereas the town board approved Resolution 15T-136, thereby setting a public information meeting on July 15, 2015, to consider the plan and to hear all persons interested on the question of the development of the 12 duplex units. Whereas on August 5, 2015, the town board held a public information meeting and received input from the public regarding said proposal. Whereas the town board of said town of Penfield held a public hearing at the town hall on December 2, 2015 at 7 p.m. to consider the application and to hear all persons interested on the question of the issuance of this incentive zoning approval and preliminary and final subdivision site plan approval for the development of the duplex units. Whereas the town board received input from the Conservation Board within a report dated September 1, 2015. Whereas on February 2, 2011, the town board adopted the Town of Penfield 2010 Comprehensive Plan, which was a subject of a generic environmental impact statement review. Whereas additionally, the density in this area was discussed in the draft and final EIS and the finding statements establishing thresholds for additional development within the general area of Penfield. Now therefore be it resolved that the subject application for incentive zoning, preliminary and final subdivision and site plan approval be and the same are hereby approved, subject to the following conditions. Mr. Supervisor, I just would like to repeat, there's a handful of conditions in here. I'd just like to mention one that I think is of importance. The amenities warranted by this incentive zoning application were determined by the town board at its February 10, 2016 work session. The cost of each of the units approved in and above the permitted 3 units shall be $6,000 per unit. The applicant proposes 21 additional units above the 3 permitted units, which would result in a total of $126,000 of incentive. The applicant may submit payment of the approved incentive in equal installments upon request for a building permit for each of the 24 units. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Further discussion? I'm just reviewing this last item here. So forgive me, I take a look at the bottom of page 2, item 6 that you just read. And the first part of that talks about, the 3 units at $6,000 per unit. And then all the rest of the units after that, $5,250. And I thought the board at work session had identified that as $6,000 per unit. So, Mr. Costello, if you would please just address this item and make sure that we're all on the same page.
Thank you, Tony. I knew that would create some confusion. In essence, what it's saying basically is it is $6,000 per unit in and above the 3 that were permitted by code. It's probably his intent, or it's been our policy in the past to allow them to pay for each of the 24 units and provide some incentive on each of the building permits to spread it out over the entire 24 versus the 21 that he's been approved for and above the 3. So if you divide it by 24, it comes out to $5,200 and some odd dollars versus the $6,000 if you just divided it by the 21. He could pay $6,000 on each of the 21 units, but that's probably not what most people have been doing in the past. They pay up for each unit that comes in.
And the total payout comes to $126,000.
It does. That's correct.
Okay.
You're just spreading it out
All
over
right.
24
Yes,
versus
spreads it out over 24.
Thank you. I just want to
Okay,
make sure,
clarification.
that we're all on the same page. So thank you, Mr. Costello, and Mr. Horowitz. Thank you. Further discussion on this particular resolution?
I would just like to, as liaison to the Conservation Board, I always like to point out and commend their work on these projects, a group of residents who take their job very seriously. So they certainly vetted this project out. Also, I would like to note for the record that both at the hearing and at our work session last week, to my satisfaction and based upon my questioning, it appears that the residents and the neighbors in the area who had some concerns are satisfied that their concerns have been addressed. I just wanted to make sure that that's on the record, that I am in support of this in light of the fact that it appears that the residents have been satisfied with their concerns.
Okay, thank you. Other discussions?
Yeah, Mr. Supervisor, I would like to just join Councilwoman Metzler in her comments. I mean, I think at work sessions, we've vetted this proposal out pretty extensively. I think the Conservation Board did a good job at also vetting this project, and I thank them for their work. This board held a public information meeting, which basically is a neighborhood meeting on the project. Then we held a public hearing, an official public hearing on the project, and so that's where we are today.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. Other discussion? I'll just indicate that I have indicated on the record several times that, not that I don't support the overall project, I just have concerns about the density. And so I will be voting no for this particular application. Again, not for the project itself, not for the type of units, but for the density. So with that, I'll ask for a roll call vote, please.
LaFountain,
No.
Metzler,
Aye.
Moore,
Aye.
Quinn.
Aye.
3 ayes, 1 no.
Thank you. We'll move on to our next law and finance, or Public Works, excuse me.
Authorization to attend Highway Superintendent's Advocacy Day for local roads and bridges in Albany, New York.
Moved.
Second.
Whereas the New York State Association of Town and Highway Superintendents and the New York State Association of County Highway Superintendents co-sponsor an Advocacy Day campaign in Albany, New York, to advocate for an increased share of the transportation funding for local roads and bridges. And whereas the Advocacy Day campaigns have been very successful in the past at advocating for maintaining our fair share of local roads and bridges funding. Now therefore be it resolved that the Director of Public Works and the Highway Foreman are authorized to attend the Advocacy Day campaign for local roads and bridges in Albany, New York, March 8th and 9th, 2016, and that reasonable expenses will be reimbursed, which are budgeted already in the 2016 Department of Public Works budget.
Thank you. Discussion.
I'd just like to add on this as Chair of Public Works, that each year we do send staff, including our Director of Public Works, to Albany. As many of you know, locally, we have great challenges in having our fair share and having Albany recognize us financially. We've been able to gather together our staff with others from other counties and have been successful, as the resolution indicates, in the past to let Albany know that the folks there need to pay attention to our area when it comes to funding local roads and bridges as well.
Excellent. Seeing no further discussion, I'd ask for a roll call vote, please.
LaFountain.
Aye.
Metzler.
Aye.
Moore.
Aye.
Quinn.
Aye.
4 ayes. Purchase one 2016 John Deere 85G excavator.
Moved.
Second.
The Director of Public Works desires to purchase one 2016 John Deere 85G excavator for a contract price of approximately $117,726.31 from Five Star Equipment in Rochester, New York, to replace an obsolete John Deere excavator. And whereas the funds for the purchase are already included in the 2016 adopted highway equipment budget for a total price of approximately $117,726.31. Now therefore be it resolved, the Director of Public Works is authorized to purchase the equipment and attachments.
Great, thank you. Discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
LaFountain.
Aye.
Metzler.
Aye.
Moore.
Aye.
Quinn.
Aye.
4 ayes. Purchase 2016 Ford F-350 plow truck and new Western wideout plow.
Moved.
Second.
The Director of Public Works desires to purchase one 2016 Ford F-350 XL 4x4 regular cab truck from Onondaga bid number 2015794 from Van Bordo Ford in East Rochester, New York, for a total cost of approximately $49,100.20. Whereas the Director also desires to purchase one new Western whiteout snowplow from Thruway Spring at a cost of $5,540 minus a trade-in for a used Western plow estimated at $1,400 for a total cost of approximately $4,140. Whereas the total funds of approximately $53,240.20 for the purchases are budgeted in the 2016 DPW Parks and Grounds Department budget. Therefore, be it resolved, the Director of Public Works is authorized to purchase the vehicle and the plow attachment.
Thank you. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, roll call vote, please.
LaFountain.
Aye.
Metzler.
Aye.
Moore.
Aye.
Quinn.
Aye.
4 ayes. Purchase 2016 Ford Transit Connect van XL for sewer department.
Moved.
Second.
The Director of Public Works desires to purchase one 2016 Ford Transit Connect van from Chautauqua bid E11-14 PFTH 2016 from Van Bordo Ford, East Rochester, New York, for a total cost of approximately $22,561.28. Whereas the total funds of approximately $22,561.28 for the purchase are budgeted in the 2016 DPW Sewer Department budget. Now therefore be it resolved that the Director of Public Works be and is hereby authorized to purchase the vehicle.
Thank you. Discussion? See no discussion, roll call vote, please.
LaFountain.
Aye.
Metzler.
Aye.
Moore.
Aye.
Quinn.
Aye.
4 ayes. Authorization for supervisor to sign recreation contracts.
So moved.
Second.
This resolution allows the supervisor to sign 4 contracts for our summer programs, which I'm definitely thinking about right now.
I'm thinking about plows and trucks.
That's right. That's exactly right. All right. Further discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
LaFountain.
Aye.
Metzler.
Aye.
Moore.
Aye.
Quinn.
Aye.
4 ayes.
Thank you. This brings us down to old business, and just another reminder, another opportunity for public participation coming up here in just a moment, 340-8771, or if you're here in the audience, or if you would like to log in at penfield.org. Any old business to come before the board this evening?
No.
Seeing none. Any new business to come before the board this evening? Again, seeing none. Public participation, Ed Lindskog. I tried to recognize you to say the pledge, Ed, and you're such a busy guy, you got a phone call.
At Lindscook 40 Willow Pond Way.
Okay.
Willow Pond Legacy is a great place to live, but there's a few minor problems that we're trying to address, and I need some help from the town to do that. They cleaned out the parking lots today. They seem to be understaffed. My car didn't get dug out until 2:30 this afternoon. And now there's a big pile of snow in the parking lot. Of course, it's going to freeze overnight, and they're going to have trouble maneuvering that during the day tomorrow. Is there any way that the town can assist in seeing that things are done in a timely manner over there, rather than the understaffed appearance that seems to be going on now? One guy was cleaning out the parking lot, and that with 40-some cars, well, that's a monumental task, especially with this much snow.
So certainly, Ed, the interest that the town has is to make sure that the proper access for emergency vehicles, fire and ambulance, those are the two keys. From a digging out cars, that really is a private matter between yourself and others and Legacy. But again, our fire marshal and our code enforcement would really be looking to make sure they have access by the emergency vehicles. I mean, we certainly have in the past and can certainly indicate to them the interest to have that taken care of. But again, that really is a private matter between yourself and Legacy.
So the snow pile that's in the parking lot right now in the middle of the parking lot wouldn't be of concern to the town?
Well, what I'll say is that I can have our fire marshal and code enforcement take a look at it. But again, if it's meeting the standards, if it's meeting the standards for emergency vehicles, and again, recognizing that we had a small amount of 20-plus inches of snow yesterday, so I think everybody needs to be, reasonable to make sure that we allow time to get things cleaned up. But again, our opportunity would be to look at for emergency vehicles, and we can have code enforcement and fire marshal take a look at that to see if in fact that impedes their access.
All right, now the access road from Willow Pond Way did not get plowed from the parking lot to the street. So if a fire truck needed to get in there, removing the chain wouldn't help them because there's snow piled in the access road.
So that's certainly something that from our end that we can take a look at. Because again, that's life safety.
That's also true on the southern approach off of the one cul-de-sac.
Okay.
So Ed, real quickly, have you brought this to the attention of the management of Legacy?
Yeah, I helped him dig my car out.
Okay. And what was their response to you?
Well, he's frustrated, but his hands are tied.
Okay.
I mean, he does his best, and Paul and I have a good relationship. Okay. I help him where I can. And Fran does what she can, but there seems to be somewhat a reluctance on Mark Forrest's part to do things in a more timely fashion. That's my only complaint. If somebody needed to get out sooner in the day, we would try to accommodate. And I realize they had a whole bunch of snow, but the garages didn't get plowed out until this afternoon. They plowed enough to get a delivery truck in there, and that was it. And then they continued. Of course, they got a lot of properties to take care of, but it appears to me that they're understaffed. That's my only complaint.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'll have the fire marshal take a look at the access road. I can have the fire marshal and code enforcement take a look at that, because again, life safety is the key that we're looking at. Not whether it takes a day or two or three to get cars buried. That really is an issue between you and Legacy. Our issue is can we get emergency vehicles if needed. So. Okay.
Right. The reason I was late tonight is because there was somebody stuck in the middle of the parking lot that they had to get pushed out.
Yeah, right. All right, thanks, Ed.
Yeah.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to address the board again on any matter? Okay. Seeing none, and there being no further business to come before the town board meeting tonight, the February 17th, 2016 town board meeting stands adjourned. Thank you to all of those that participated. Thank you to Penfield TV. We end officially at 7:56 p.m.